Hello, ladies. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so it's Tuesday, right? Everybody, welcome. Happy Tuesday. My name's Hannah. If you haven't met me yet, I'm one of the support coaches, and I'm going to be hanging out in the chat with you today. And if this is one of your first calls, if you would like to be coached, just go ahead and throw in the chat that you would like coaching, and we'll go in order of how that shows up on our side. And then even if we can't get to your question today, there's so much permission to just lean in and receive what you can from what the other ladies are getting, and just take what you need for your heart in those moments. And then today is the call with Brie. It's just a general Q&A call. And so I will go ahead and pass it off to her.
Awesome. Thanks, Hannah. Welcome, everybody. It's great to see you. I have been away for a few days and just want to reconnect with everybody in our community. So let me know how you're doing. Let me know a couple of the feelings you felt today. This is something I ask pretty regularly, but I'd love to hear some of the emotions that have popped up for you guys today, if you want to share. And while you're doing that, I'll just share that I went to Ohio this past weekend to see some dear friends that I used to live with. So that's where I was. It was beautiful weather and yeah, just loved it. So, okay. Haley, I'm frustrated and I'm frustrated and I'm frustrated. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Oh man. Karina, a little shocked. Yeah. Yeah, that's a definite feeling. Monica, sad and overwhelmed. Yeah, Rio, I feel happy and peaceful. Yep. Elizabeth, numb. Yep. Totally welcome here. Angelina, wonderful. Yanitza, frustrated and disappointed. Yeah, Lindsay, inspired but tired. Yeah, that's real. Yeah, Angelina, had a wonderful Easter. You're opening up more. That's great. Yeah. And A. Cannon, I'm not sure what your first name is, but you said you're frustrated and angry. Yeah. I really appreciate hearing from you guys, and just, I know we do this often, but I like to hear like what's really going on, and just as like a way to connect with, like, we're all feeling different things and we're feeling multiple things. So thanks for being real with me. Let's take a couple minutes just to get quiet internally, and I'll pray over us for our coaching today. So like I often say, wherever you're at, make yourself comfortable and really connect in with your body. Where are you feeling tense? And is there anything you can do to support your body to release some of that tension? It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be all of it, but is there a way you can shift so that you're more comfortable? Just give yourself that opportunity for a moment here. And just connect in with your breathing, just to kind of slow your brain down. We're going to invite all the energy that you've been putting towards work and your to-do list and whatever's coming up in your personal journey. We're going to just invite all of that to rest in this time, so that you guys can really absorb and receive whatever it is God has for you today. So just as you breathe, if you want to put your hand on your heart, you can. It's always an option for you. And I'd love for you to let your mind put words to what you're needing today. Let your emotions be the clues of what you're needing today. Yeah. And I want you to go ahead and imagine just someone walking in the room, someone who you love and feel safe with, someone who you respect. If they were to walk in the room right now and say exactly what you need to hear, what would that be? Just want you to give yourself a moment to play that out in your imagination. Yeah. Yeah. And just kind of hold that there in your heart, whatever that statement is. And Jesus, we just thank you for our humanity. We thank you for your presence within us. And I just thank you for the opportunity to explore what we're needing today. And Jesus, by your Spirit, I just invite all of the hearts into peace during this coaching session. Thank you, Jesus, that you're teaching us how to bring ourselves back into the peace that you freely give. I just ask that you'd surprise us today with your presence, with your power, with your sense of humor. Yeah. And that each woman would feel just a personal touch from you, a personal word from you, like they're able to glean something personal in this time for their own heart. And all these things we just thank you for. In your name, amen. All right. Great to see you guys. Great to see your faces. I'm going to go ahead and dive into some coaching. And it looks like Karina, you are first to go today.
Hi, Brie. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
What's up?
Thank you for that. It was really relaxing. I was a little nervous to get coached this morning, but I kind of helped alleviate some of that anxiety.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think, I guess I don't know what's my question, but I'm realizing that I have abandonment issues. And for so long, I always thought like that wasn't something I struggled with, but I'm realizing that I didn't realize that because it's hard for me to be in relationship with people and allow people in. But once I look at those relationships that I've actually let in, I see a whole bunch of abandonment and yeah, I don't know what to do with it. I mean, I posted on the Facebook chat about how once I feel like I'm close to someone and I sense a disconnection or that they're withdrawing connection, at least if it's like a little bit, I get scared and I completely shut them out, and to the point where they feel like complete strangers. And this is even with family. So like my best friend, she's getting married and I know she's busy right now and I feel like I'm experiencing that with her right now. And I'm busy with school and work, so I don't have the time to spend with her as much as we were before I started the semester. And I hung out with her and I just feel completely emotionally shut down, and I don't want to talk about myself and share things that I'm going through. And yeah, like I was just sitting next to her at the coffee shop feeling like she's a complete stranger. But I've spent every day with her this past year or two and we've been doing fun stuff and I've shared that, like, it's a great friendship and I don't want to ruin it by doing this because I normally just shut people out when things like this happen or when I sense some kind of disconnection emotionally. So yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask some clarifying questions?
Yeah.
Is that okay? That experience in the coffee shop with your friend, is that the first time you felt that with her in particular?
No. So yeah, there was another when she got engaged last year. I was so triggered, and that's when I first started this program. But I even had a conversation with her telling her like, I know your priorities are going to change when you're married and we're not going to spend as much time together. And I respect that, but I was trying to come to terms with that, and it was hard. And I remember just being really emotional and feeling like I was completely going to lose her as a friend. But the whole time she would just listen, and nothing changed after that conversation. She was still like a really good friend, and validated what I felt. But yeah, it was all me. I think it made me realize that it was me. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were to put that emotion that comes up for you, like you're like, oh, her priorities are about to change, and you feel this like, whoa, and then you want to shut down. Can you put that whoa feeling into a statement? Like, her priorities changing means what about me? About you?
Mm-hmm. I think I kind of get a sense of self when I allow someone in. So uh, it might be like a codependent thing, but um, yeah, I feel like I have identity with her, and it's gonna be completely lost once if she completely disconnects from me.
Yeah.
Um, and I know that's codependency, and I know that's not like I want that healed, but that's the truth and where I am. And I think I've been trying to be in denial about all this for a while now. So,
Well, and here's the thing too, is like, it's really easy, which I feel like our group here in Alive and Free, we're all waking up to our codependent tendencies, right? And so the first pendulum swing is codependency is bad. I have to stop it right now. I'm bad for doing it, right? But hang on, hang on. And I know you know this, just want to say it again. We were raised from babies with people taking care of us, right? We were literally dependent on them. So as we're growing out of it, as we're realizing like, oh, I like relationships with people to be this way instead of like codependent, like all of that is so okay. Like, you're not behind, you're not bad for noticing this codependency. I feel like sometimes we feel like codependency is the new label to put on ourselves of what we're doing wrong. And I just want to say, we are built to be connected to one another. We're all relearning what that looks like in a healthy way. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So if there's any shame about codependency popping up, I just want to give you an invitation to consider, like, you're right on time, girl. You're right on time. You're not behind and you're not bad for this. Do you
Yeah.
have any thoughts before we talk about the situation?
Yeah. So I guess I'm just thinking like um I know the consequences to like codependency and being codependent, and I was a psychology major, so like I understand it, and for so long I tried to disassociate from that and feel like that's not something that's a part of me, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I am shaming myself a little because of it.
you what?
I am shaming myself a little bit because of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you probably, yeah, like you said, you've studied it, and so you probably have some concepts in your head of what it could look like, if you don't fix this right now. Is that kind of the urgency of it? Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. That totally makes sense. Yeah. Um, so inside of the abandonment and the desire um, to like shut down before, well, hang on, let me ask you this. You said you experienced the shutdown out of fear of abandonment. Is that what's happening in close relationships?
Mm-hmm. Like once I sense our connection is not the same, or there's some kind of change there, I just completely shut them down. Yeah.
And you shut them down or you shut you down?
Shut myself down, but in my mind, it's just building a wall towards them, not allowing people in. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And what would you like your friend who's getting married soon, what would you like for her to know about you right now? How do you want to be known by her that you feel like you're shutting down against?
Yeah. So I actually sent her a message right after we had coffee, and I told her that I'm processing some stuff with God, and I apologized for being shut down and just not engaging in conversation or sharing much of what's going on with me. So yeah, I mean, I communicated that, so
Mhm.
she's very understanding. I think that that was like the right thing to do. I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. How did you feel after you communicated that to her? Like, hey, I'm just processing some stuff.
I always feel like I'm the emotional one and the weak one because I'm very open. And if there's something that's bothering me, I'll share it openly. And if there's any emotions that come up, I always allow them to just surface when I share things with her. And she's very reserved. Like she doesn't show much emotion. It takes a lot for her to crack open, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think I still do it, but I always feel like, gosh, I overshared again, or it's just, yeah, the shame that comes with sharing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I feel so immature because one day I'm telling her like, oh my gosh, like my boy situation, and it's not going well, and I'm a little irritated, and like it's probably just me. And then another day I'll share like, oh, I'm emotionally shut down, I'm so sorry. And then another day like, oh, my grandma is like going through this, and I always just feel so negative, emotional, and immature.
Okay.
But and I know that I should be kinder to myself, but that's the truth. Yeah, that's what I feel after sharing my emotions and things that I'm going through.
Would you say that's pretty regular every time you share your emotions, or it kind of comes and goes? Like,
I think
do you feel, is there ever like a release or an energy you get from sharing your emotions inside of a safe friendship?
there are times, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of the time it's when the other person can relate or shares something about themselves too.
Okay. And so in this dynamic with your friend, if she doesn't reciprocate to the same depth, do you feel like that means something about you?
Hmm.
What does that mean?
Um, yes and no, because sometimes I do think she has a hard time being vulnerable and getting in touch with her emotions, but and I respect that, and that's where she's at. But sometimes I do take it personal, and I think maybe I'm just not trustworthy, and um, maybe she hears me complain about other things, and she might think I might complain about her in the same way. Um, so yeah, I guess I think that I'm not trustworthy.
Yeah, with her emotions.
Yes,
So
I
that's,
think she
yeah.
perceives me that way. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And just so that we're both on the same page, I'm not suggesting you do this. I'm just curious, have you had any type of conversation around, hey, I feel like you perceive me this way and it makes me kind of nervous?
Mm, mm-mm. No,
Okay.
I have.
Yeah, and again, I'm not suggesting that that's necessarily what needs to happen, just so that I know kind of the comfortability level of this relationship. Yeah. Yeah. So it really makes sense to me that if you're showing up inside this relationship or any relationship with a sense of I'm going to lose her, right? Whether it's to marriage or to some other kind of disconnect, whatever you feel in that, good change, just change period, right? If you're showing up, I'm going to lose her, I'm the weak one, I'm not trustworthy.
Mm.
Makes a whole lot of sense to me why that would kind of produce some shutdown.
Mm. Yeah. And I've been feeling lonely recently, and it might have to do with this too, because she's like I can have other friends, but I just feel like I always have to have one person, and she's that one person in my life right now. And everyone else just feels like a stranger. And I was close to one of my nieces, and then now she feels like a stranger because I haven't like that contact. Just she got a boyfriend, and um that connection just changed after that, and so I started treating her like a stranger and not really checking in as much as I would before. um and yeah, I mean, I've been feeling lonely for a while now, for like 3 weeks, and it sucks.
Mhm.
um but I always like, I know it makes sense to me why I feel this way. I have so many tendencies that are leading me to this feeling of loneliness that um I'm kind of left like, okay, like that makes sense. Oh, this is like almost like I'm finding evidence to support why I feel lonely right now.
Mhm.
And it just feels like there's so many reasons.
Mhm.
Um
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking back, well, this morning I was thinking back to one of every birthday I always feel lonely, but this specific birthday, I had broken up with my ex-boyfriend, and um my brother, I told him how lonely I felt, and he took me out for dinner, and he was trying to alleviate that pain. Um, and I was just brought back to that. And I don't know if I'm expecting other people to do that now as an adult. Um, but I do, yeah, I think that's what it is, because the shutdown comes from me expecting my friend to ask me how I'm doing, like how am I feeling, and to be there for me more than she's being there for me now. Um, so I'm placing that responsibility of other people alleviating my loneliness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know where you learned that? Like as a little girl? Like it correct me if I'm wrong. I want to make sure I understand this, but it almost sounds like it feels like shutting down will make people move towards you. But then you shut down and they're like, oh, okay. And then you're like, wait, come get me. Is that kind of what it feels like?
Yeah.
Which I can put it into words because I totally relate to it. Okay, just so you know. Yeah, if I run away, they'll chase me, right? Or
Yeah, that's very
I'm not
spot
saying
on.
that's okay. Yeah, I can relate to you in that. And so I've been curious about that in my own life too. Where did I learn that was the dynamic where I had to ignore, shut down, pretend like I didn't need anybody in
Mm.
hopes that they'll come after me, and then I'm so disappointed or so lonely when they don't, when in fact they're probably reading the room or reading me and being like, oh, she probably wants to be alone right now, or she's fine, or and again, I don't want to project that onto you. I'm just saying from my experience, like um instead of the shame part of it, of like, oh, I do that. Okay, curious about that. Like, where do you think you learned that?
Well, my relationship with my brother growing up was always he was always a person that knew how to meet people's needs without them being communicated, especially mine.
Yeah.
There was that dynamic growing up, and he was always a responsible one, always there for us emotionally, and he knew how to be there for us. Um, yeah, so I'm wondering if I'm just putting that expectation on my other relationships. I don't know.
Which would make a lot of sense. Am I remembering from your story correctly that your dad kind of filled in your brother kind of filled in some dad type of role for you?
He did.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I'm just like, yeah, the having needs met by somebody who intuitively knows what you need. That's a beautiful thing. And I think that's probably easier for parents or parent figures to do for us when we're small. And as we get older and more intricate and complex, it can be totally devastating when people can't meet those needs, right? Like, I mean, it just makes sense that like if that was the dynamic, especially with this man or this dad role in your life, um, that yeah, there would be an expectation there. But I don't think you're bad or wrong for that. um I just think it's really interesting, like that little girl needs something,
Yeah.
almost like that little girl needs to know that she can ask for what she needs.
Mm.
Yeah. Like, do you feel like you could ask for what you needed from this friend or from another person in your life?
Mm. Yeah, I think I'm growing in that where I guess the issue here would be I don't know what I need.
Mm.
And I don't want to communicate something that is not my need or that I just think is my need and I'm not sure of. So yeah, I guess identifying the need is what I need to look into. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to just acknowledge that, like, not knowing what you need
Mhm.
can feel really scary and really vulnerable, and like not every relationship is going to be one where you feel the safety to be messy and like going to somebody and being like, I don't know what I need, but I just need to like, I need somebody to be here with me while I like unravel it, and get down to what it is. And like, do you have any relationships in your life where you feel like you could just say, can I have 30 minutes of your time and I just need to talk something out? Like, can you be with me in this while I figure out what it is I'm needing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can think of two people at least or three. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
So what's
What
wrong?
would you say?
I said, so what's wrong with me?
Well, I mean, that's a really
A lot
that
of
question,
uh-huh.
wrong with me, is an orientation, right?
Yeah.
Wrong with me, I'm looking for what's wrong, right? What am I learning? That's a different orientation. What am I needing? That's a different orientation, right? So I I hear you because I've asked that a lot too. What's wrong with me? How do I fix it ASAP? Okay, can we practice just right now, just to the best of your ability?
Mhm.
What do you need in this space right now? What would be most helpful for you?
Mm, I guess maybe some practicals on how not or I guess the thing I'm thinking right now is trying to understand why I shut down when connection is changed. Um, so more of understanding, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I throw out some what ifs and you just let me know if they resonate?
Yeah.
What if you shut down in disconnection because you're actually trying to get connection?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what we talked about before.
Yeah.
That is actually your attempt to get connection.
Mm-hmm. I'm realizing that that's what I'm doing with the guy I'm dating right now, or in a situationship with right now.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got upset and just decided I won't talk to him at all. And my motive was to see if hopefully he'd, message me and try to regain connection again. So
Totally.
definitely pattern.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So withdrawing to get connection, that's my tactic. So instead of withdrawing, how can I step in? What does that look like?
Yeah. Do you want to step in?
Yeah.
You want to step in with this guy?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, even with my friend, yeah, like in those moments of stepping or withdrawing, instead of withdrawing, actually stepping in and being present,
Mm-hmm.
and not shutting down the ways that I have been. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you give yourself this space either in your head or in journaling to be honest with yourself of like, I'm shutting down because I'm actually afraid that this guy is too like better than I could have ever wanted, or I'm afraid he's actually gonna cheat on me because of something else, or do you feel like you have that connection with yourself where you can identify like what the fear is underneath?
I think if I do take the time to journal about it, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's that simple, and I don't mean simple like obvious. I mean maybe it is just a few minutes a day or a few minutes a few times a day of just honesty with yourself, like, oh, I'm shutting him down, okay, or I'm shutting down in his presence, or I'm shutting down in this friend's presence, and it's actually because this thing is so precious to me. um, and I feel like I don't have the tools with which to care for it, or I feel like I'm going to sabotage it, and I'm afraid of me. Like even that statement earlier, I'm not trustworthy. That's a big statement. Maybe it's not across the board in all these relationships. That just stood out to me when you said it.
Yeah.
I'm also curious what it would look like to acknowledge when you're withdrawing, and just picture yourself as a little girl and tell her, it's okay. It's okay. I understand why you're withdrawing. I'm actually going to practice leaning in right now and see what happens.
Yeah.
And just kind of doing it in an experiment way. And depending on the relationship, letting that person know, the friend who's getting married, hey, everything in me wants to shut down right now, and I've really become aware of this. I just want you to know I'm going to try and be like 100% honest with my feelings right now. Can I practice that with you? Does that feel like an accessible statement, or does that feel like not authentic to you?
It doesn't feel authentic to me because I've tried that.
Okay.
It's, yeah. At least, um, Yeah, because I've tried to push through and it just doesn't feel authentic. But does it take not being authentic to step out of that? Is that like the process of it? I don't know.
I mean, that's an interesting question. Like, what is really authentic to me? That's a good question. Is it the way I've always, is it this familiar way of interacting, or is it me trying out a few things to figure out which one feels authentic? Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah.
Hmm.
um, geez. Oh, no. I guess like the way I handled me being shut down with my best friend the last time, I think that was authentic. But then, like, towards the end of the message, I was like, I'm so excited for, the things that we are talking about. But then I looked back and it just looks so inauthentic. And the thing about me is every time I feel a certain emotion, I always told myself it was hard for me to hide it. Um, just because I was genuine in that way. Where when I was mad, I'd make sure everyone knew I was mad, or like, which I'm not mad most of the time, but like when I'm sad, mostly like sad and joyful is like those are common emotions, but it'd be clear and everyone will know that I'm sad or I'm going through something. Um, and yeah, it just feels inauthentic to pretend that I'm not in that place. Yeah, I'll have to look into that a little more.
Yeah, like I think maybe making just some notes, just some curious notes about yourself, and maybe like bullet point form, so that you're not like, so that journaling doesn't become about fixing you, like I've got to get to the bottom of this, but just being like, oh, interesting, I felt really open with that person, or I felt shut down there today and I was feeling fine before that. Like just kind of getting some data on that for yourself as just information. Is that something you feel like you've already done, or does that feel like something you could do?
Mm. Maybe like something I can do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You did mention something that kind of stood out to me earlier, about trust and how I don't trust myself in relationships. Um, so I guess I can probably journal about that. I don't know if this is tied into to what I'm doing, instead of it being the other person and what they're doing, it's mostly me just not trusting myself.
It'd be interesting to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's like the abandonment you've felt in life and the abandonment that feels scary inside of disconnection, like if there's any self-abandonment going on of just like, oh, I need to fix myself, or it must be my fault, or I'm not trustworthy, like all of those things um, might be where you feel the disconnect inside as well. I'm not saying that's for sure, but just something to explore as you process. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing this. I know that it's something that's like unfolding, and I know it's not like we landed on like big conclusions today, but I just want to commend you for being in the process with it. Oh,
Yeah. Thank you.
still.
Yeah, I don't want to jump the gun and try to fix it right away. I feel like it's something I'm realizing just now, or actually acknowledging that I have this abandonment issue. And for
Yes.
so long, I told myself, no, like that's not something I struggle with. people struggle with that, not me. But now, like, nope,
Yeah.
girl, you too. So, yeah.
Keep us posted. I feel like there's probably a lot of treasure in all of this, all that you're thinking through and recognizing. I think you're going to find out some really beautiful aspects of your heart. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brie.
You're welcome. Thanks for sharing, Karina. Awesome. All right. Haley, you are next.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi. I want to say this really quickly. I want to encourage you and all of you Alive and Free coaches, because I just realized, like, as I was processing what I was going to say and like everything that I'm trying to think of, I thought, wow, like, Brie doesn't get a minute to process what she just processed with, like, Karina, for example, before she jumps to me. And like, y'all are so sweet to us. And after we share and we give vulnerability, you know, Jenny said to me the other day, like, if you need to take a nap, go take a nap. If you need to eat a cheeseburger, go eat a cheeseburger. Like, do what you need, because you shared so much. So I was just thinking about you and our other coaches. You just share so much with us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so quick, like back to back. I just love y'all.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. I feel really appreciated. Thanks, Haley.
You're so welcome. Okay.
What's on your heart? Were you were frustrated? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm frustrated. And then I'm frustrated that I'm frustrated.
Okay. Yeah.
I need help figuring out, like, what is it that I'm feeling, because, you know, you and I had a really deep coaching session 2 weeks ago with emotional eating. And so I've been thinking about that and processing that. And I just watched the recording again. And I'm like, okay, what is it that I am thinking? Because, like, that's the symptom. The eating is the symptom of what's going on right now. And so I'm asking for help on, like, what is it that I'm actually going through and thinking and processing. And I think the best way, maybe you tell me, for us to figure out, like, where to start is if I just give you, like, a little synopsis of things that are going on. Does that work? Okay.
That was powerfully stated. Well done.
Yes. Yep. Okay, awesome. I just am, like, so frustrated by people. I'm so frustrated by noises. I'm frustrated by, like, a lot of things, because I think I can't figure out what is it that I need and I want. So I'm moving cross country in 2 weeks, and that's huge.
Yep.
I am not really getting the proper goodbye, because I can't, like, tell people really, because I'm still working from home in this season, and I don't know if I will still have this job, you know, in a couple months. So I'm just telling people, like, oh yeah, I'm just working from home in another spot, you know, but I'm not really being like, well, I don't know if I'm coming back. Mm-hmm. I've said it to, like, a few people, but then I just feel like I can't even be my authentic self to people. And that's, I think, a big thing. And then it's like, okay, well, I'm leaving my whole life here to go do something different that doesn't even have, like, an outcome yet. Like, I'm not going to do anything specific on the East Coast. I'm going to, like, take a rest, actually, like a sabbatical, to be honest. And so, what am I trying to say? So here it's like, and because of COVID and everything, it's like, I feel like I'm leaving in secret, and that doesn't feel authentic to me, nor does it feel like what I deserve in the community and relationships that I've built. And then it's like, yeah, I think I'm just, like, processing that. I don't know how to process it. I think that's it. But then also like coming into that, I've been on this eating binge and stuff. And, you know, you and I talked about respect and me respecting myself. And I'm still trying to figure out like what that looks like and how I can get there. And I realized like there is proof that I am acceptable to other people when I'm heavier and when I'm thinner. I'm not acceptable to myself when I'm heavier because I just don't want that for myself. I don't feel good when I have extra weight on me. But I know that people still love me and want to do life with me because that's been proven. So that's, I think, everything that I'm kind of aware of right now.
Yep. Yeah. So not receiving a proper goodbye,
Yeah.
send off,
Yeah.
not feeling authentic inside of that. You're
Yeah.
leaving the known for the unknown.
Yeah.
I don't know how to process this, was what you said.
Yeah.
And then also this feeling of with the eating, whatever the eating is helping with, the eating is trying to help you. So that's happening inside of that, the byproduct of being bigger is that you feel unacceptable to you.
Yes.
Does that feel like?
That feels like a good summary. And then one thing I didn't mention, I just forgot to mention, is I've been like trying to follow what is it that I crave, right? You gave us that really good tool. It's sugar, it's sweetness. I eat and I want this high because it brings me sweetness and it brings me fulfillment. And that's what I want. I want like intimacy and the sweetness and the joy and the fun. And obviously, like, I'm not really getting it right now because I'm having to pack up my whole life and I'm doing heart work, I'm doing real work, I'm doing trying to take care of myself. So like, where's the sweetness? Where's the fun? I'm not getting enough, I think.
So there's almost this like belief that like I can't have fun or sweetness when there's so much to do, or like even with the heart work, that's like sweetness can't be a part of that either. Like that's kind of what your heart is believing at this point. Does that sound accurate?
I don't know whether that's inaccurate or I just haven't, I can't see that. I don't know if that's true.
Right.
I think, yeah, like I'm not sure it's a belief. I just am a little bit aware of like, I want a lot of, maybe it's the disassociation that I'm trying to grab a hold of because that's sweetness of not having to like deal with what I'm actually going through.
Like avoidance.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
The reason I'm like, oh, I need coaching is because I don't know what is what.
Mm-hmm.
Versus just like talking through it with somebody who's not a support coach.
No, you're doing great. Let's just track that avoidance thing for a second and see if there's anything there. There may not be.
Okay.
Are there any feelings you want to avoid in saying goodbye?
Are there any feelings I want to avoid? Well, like with goodbye, there's disconnection, and that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Brie.
It's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
You're doing great. What about, tell me about the feelings of like, oh, I'm not being authentic in these goodbyes. Like what feelings come up that are kind of uncomfortable?
Yeah. I'm not being authentic in these goodbyes. Like, I feel like I can't like tell everybody who's not I just can't tell everybody the whole story. And so it feels like I'm being disingenuous to myself and I'm not getting the like maybe closure because like I don't know if I'm coming back at all. I could very well see that me not. And that means like I might never see some of these people again. And that means that these relationships that have been dear to me, although they have mainly changed because of just the climate that this season has been for people, um, uh, maybe just like things won't be. I kind of lost my train of thought.
It's okay. Can you fill me in a little bit on, if it's not too personal,
Yeah, yeah,
on the why you can't share?
yeah. The why I can't share is because like I think in my heart and just what I believe that the Lord is doing with me, like I just don't think that I'm coming back to live on the West Coast. I don't think I will be in my job for much longer because I already know that I've kind of like outgrown everything. But like I can't just tell people that really.
So you're saying in a work situation,
Yeah.
does it extend to your friend group as well?
Well, I think it's like the work situation. Like I just because I'm still working West Coast, but I'm gonna be on the East Coast. Like people are doing that and it's fine. I've gotten the okay. You know, I think my work people just don't know that my whole life is changing and I'm moving on. But I don't know where that is yet. I don't know what that means yet. So I'm fearful, I guess, that like somebody's gonna find out and be like, you're fired, or like this is not okay. But I just can't even say for a fact that I won't come back. Because what if Jesus is like, hey girl, like you're here for a couple months and now you're actually gonna go back and you're gonna find somewhere else to live. I don't know. I don't think that's the case, but so that's why I'm feeling like I can't be authentic to people because I wanna tell everybody like, hey, I'm moving, I love you, this, and this, but I feel like it's so secretive. And I think maybe because it's secretive, I can't even like process my feelings of goodbye. It's almost like I'm not really going, maybe. Um, yeah.
Totally makes sense. So I'm going to be a little bit direct,
Yeah,
but I
please.
mean it with kindness. Like I almost like, is there any inauthenticity inside yourself, like towards you, of like what God's inviting you into and what you've chosen? Like like is there a disconnect between like you knowing what you want to do moving forward, or you feeling permission for you to move forward? Does any of that make sense?
Like, it makes sense, but also not fully. So is it like I would feel better and feel more authentic if I literally everything was a clean cut?
Mhm.
I thought about that. I don't necessarily like I with what I'm doing in my work, I have these programs. I can't just put in my 2 weeks tomorrow and be like that would be very disingenuous to who I am as a person and my commitment. I don't believe the Lord is asking me to do that. Um, so that's a sense of like, does that answer your question of like why I'm stuck in this inauthentic?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like I have a thought and I have an answer, but then I lose my train of thought because it's not super concrete.
I know. And the same thing is happening over here for me. So just know that, don't
Okay,
take it personally. I think
okay,
it's a
okay,
situation.
okay,
So
okay.
what I'm sensing is there's the top layer of ending relation, an end of something, whether
Yeah,
that's a job, whether that's coworker relationships,
yeah,
this space you've been in for however long. There's like that's legitimate. There's change coming. You can feel it.
I know it. Yeah.
Yeah. Underneath that, I was just poking at if there's anything where you feel like, oh, God really did invite me to do this, and I've been not making a decision, or like you feel unrest because you kind of know what you're supposed to do, but it feels scary to do it. I'm not saying any of those are real, but I'm just kind of prodding at that to see if there's something in it.
Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate you asking, because yeah, you're on the outside kind of trying to get in. I'm inviting you in. I definitely don't like, I think as I'm getting closer to going, I'm like, wow, that would be really easy if I was just like clean and done. However, I don't necessarily feel like the Lord is like, okay, you are doing this because I have time to do it properly, to like, I'm taking time off, I'm traveling, I have this program. I very well could be like, okay, the season is up, shut my computer back, all that good stuff. So one thing that you don't know, and I didn't think it was really important, but maybe it just gives you more insight. I applied for this 100%. Jesus like led me to this program. This I'll just say it. I don't know if you've heard of Cageless Birds, Jonathan and Melissa Helsers. Yeah, right. So cool. So a couple months ago, like as I was trying to figure out, like Jesus was beckoning me to North Carolina essentially to go live with this family friend. Before I was like fully committed, I literally was having a quiet time and I was checking in with my heart, and like Cageless Birds just like came to mind, like out of nowhere. And I was like, I don't know what that means. I'm not gonna do, disregard what you said. I checked in on like, them, the programs, all this stuff. Everything was closed because of COVID. Then like I checked back in randomly, like it's just, and then things started opening up, and then it was like applications are open, and it was like I was being beckoned to all of this stuff so quickly, and I was like, okay, Lord, I don't know what this means, I will do it. And I found out it's also in North Carolina, so I've like applied, but I don't know if I'm going to get in yet. So that's essentially a 2-month thing in the fall where like you can't work.
Yeah.
So essentially, like, if I get in, I'm choosing into that. I know it's like that's when I would say goodbye to my job. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, and thanks for sharing that. I love that. I have almost applied several times, and then now I'm not in the age bracket anymore that they invite, but I love the sound of it, and I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
That you were drawn to that. So yeah, no, so that really helps give me a picture of like, well, that's not for sure.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to move forward with my move, but I'm going to keep my job. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, because I have responsibilities to see through at least until August. I
mean, if you were to set down, which I can so relate to you on, like, professionalism and stuff like that, and like where's the lines and how do my heart really goes out to you, because I've gotten twisted up here often, and nobody else at my work is twisted up, and I'm like, no, I have to do this correct and meaningfully. And what would it look like for you to give authentic, connected goodbyes, or to authentically say, hey, there's something on the horizon for me, it's not for sure yet, but this is kind of what I'm thinking? Like, is there anybody you work with who you'd want to open up to like that?
My closest work person, she already knows. I don't think I told her about the 18-inch journey. That's what it's called for people who don't know. And I slightly mentioned it to my other coworker that I'm interested in looking for other jobs just because I've, outgrown it. To be honest, Brie, I feel like I'm going in circles here. Like I'm talking, but I feel like this isn't it.
Mhm.
But I don't fully know. Like, is this really why I'm so frustrated? And this why I'm like stuffing myself with sweets because I'm like, I just want to be authentic and I'm not fully?
No, that's really, really perceptive that you're like, oh, I feel like it circles right here. That's really
Yeah.
good. This is important to know, especially like because you are you, no matter who's coaching you, you are leading. You
Yeah.
are so let's set down the authenticity and the work situation.
Okay.
Do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna read off the other ones. Just let me know which one jumps out to you the most. Okay.
Okay. And not to say that that wasn't good. I'm so glad we talked about it. I just feel like if we ended the call now, I'd be like, well, I just wasted somebody's time.
Totally. And you're not wasting my time, but I love your perception of like, hey, this is not it. That's really important for you to know that inside yourself.
Okay.
That's really, really powerful.
Cool,
So
thanks.
yeah, you're doing great. And you communicated that beautifully. So leaving the known for the unknown. I don't know how to process all of this, or I'm unacceptable when I'm bigger.
What really got me was like, I mean, they're all so valid and things that I need to tackle and want to tackle, but it's like, I think what will serve me best is tackling the how do I process so many things at once. That's actually what I was thinking before I jumped into the call and I forgot it. Like, I know this is going to happen again in my life where I have so much going on and then I need to like give myself space and process. But what do I do when I'm not in the program and I don't have this situation?
True. I just want to remind you again, the way you were just able to articulate what was happening inside of you and ask for what you need, that's evidence right there that you are doing this without the program, that you will be doing this without the program. Okay. I know. I hear you. It's a very common thing that I hear.
Okay.
Not to invalidate you, but just letting you know, I think you're going to be surprised. I think the post 6 months is really important so that all the clients, including yourself, get to know, I do remember, I did learn some things. This is what I learned, So
yeah. I definitely know I have learned some things.
Yeah. So when you have that thought of I'm not sure how to process all these changes, tell me how do you know when something is processed, or how do you know when you are processing something?
I think I give myself the space to do so. And I realized yesterday, like I haven't been giving myself this space. I had this thought yesterday. When I go to North Carolina, I'm excited that I will have time and space for myself, the hours where like East Coast is awake and West Coast isn't. But then I was like, oh, I actually have time during the day here and I'm not even like pouring into myself. Like I'm not doing the space and the heart work and the journaling and the art like that I want and that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
What? Like that sounds like bananas. Like what? That makes no sense to me that I would do that. I think I'm afraid of giving myself space right now.
Okay.
Or it just feels really hard.
Yeah. And what feels hard about that?
That I'm not going to process through everything that I need to. Or maybe that and I don't have the tools and that it will be processed. And I think what's going on right now that's frustrating me in that setting is like I'm having so many dreams, Brie, where like I know the Lord is speaking to me and I'm processing what's going on everywhere, but I'm frustrated because I'm like, Holy Spirit, I know you're giving me these dreams because they're about things like renovating, they're about like bathrooms, they're about like all of these things, yet you are not telling me what they need. So if you're not even processing, if you're not even like in the process with me on what you're giving me, how the heck am I supposed to be able to process what what I'm in myself? That's big that I just had. I'm frustrated, Brie.
Yeah. With God?
I didn't think of that, but in that context of the dreams, yeah. Because I want to dream with him, but I just want the answers too. It's like I want, like, it keeps on coming back to the intimacy, the fulfillment, the sweetness. Like, I know that the Lord is the answer, and I know that seeking him is this answer. But it's like unattainable. And then how am I supposed to process all of my emotions? It all circles back and it all is tying into everything. How am I supposed to process like leaving people, and like I want them to be sad that I'm leaving and love on me, and then I want to be sad that I'm leaving, like feel it, but I'm not really feeling those feelings either. So I see that it is just like circles.
Well, and the intimacy piece sounds really transactional. And I'm not saying that as like a bad on you. I'm saying we've all been taught that way. And I think it's actually what inhibits our intimacy with God. But like, let's just put it in a human context, which is one context. And of course, God is like bigger than that. But do you go to your boyfriend for answers or for
Like, well, if I had a boyfriend, Brie.
I'd be asking him for answers right now.
I was like, invalid question. No, just
not invalid, because your heart responds. Your heart knows.
Yeah.
Your heart knows.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, go to people for answers because they're tangible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not all the time, of course, but
yeah.
Yeah.
And what about just enjoying a relationship without answers?
Yeah, that happens.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it almost sounds like you feel alone in your relationship with God. Like he's giving me the breadcrumbs and I've got to put them together and figure out the riddle so that I can perform right and my life I will be safe and blessed. Does any of that resonate? I'm not saying that's true, but
Yeah, that I kind of was like, oh, okay. I didn't think that because like earlier this week I was just such in a place of, wow, I see all the color and I see how you and I are connected. And I'm excited for that. But what you just said is very accurate too. Like, you're giving me breadcrumbs, but I don't see you like actually here with me during all of this because I'm frustrated when I'm the majority of the time right now. Just at everything.
And I mean, if it is sweetness that you're seeking,
Yeah.
connection and fulfillment and relationship, like and that component feels lacking, like
Yeah.
to me that makes a lot of sense. That like you think you want answers, but it's actually you want presence. You want somebody with you so that you feel safe to actually feel and process and shift gears into this new season.
Yeah. And what you just said, Brie, I literally thought yesterday, like, I should talk to somebody right now. Like, who could I talk to right now out of my friends? I have many people that I could. And I even thought about my friends here, but I was like, it doesn't feel right. Like, I'm leaving them. Like, I thought of like my Alive and Free girls, like, because they don't know me like in a physical sense.
Mm-hmm.
They've just been on this awesome journey with me. And I mean, this is great. I'm not invalidating that. I'm loving it. But I was like, I can't it doesn't make sense to talk to the people here with me or my friends from college who are like living their own lives. And I don't have anybody to go talk to who's in North Carolina about it. Yeah.
So you're feeling lonely.
I think I am feeling lonely.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
And it happened so quickly because I feel like recently in the past couple of days, right? I was like really excited and like, oh, I feel so connected to you, Jesus. And then it's just like fading. Even though I've been like, yeah, I think the breadcrumbs is super good. Like I'm trying to eat new breadcrumbs, but I feel like I'm just eating breadcrumbs from 2 days ago. And I'm not giving my space to like cook up some new bread.
And I think, right, like you could see it as frustration with yourself or your circumstance or with God who's only giving you this, or you could take it as like invitation to connect.
Yeah. That's been in my head too, Brie, of like, okay, I'm pushing into it. But like in what way? Like I was reading my Bible today and I was like, this is so annoying. Like I'm annoyed. Like I'm not getting it. I'm just annoyed.
Yeah.
But like I'm glad that we touched on like the loneliness, the breadcrumbs, the sweetness, the intimacy. Yeah. I feel like in this moment, like, oh my gosh, I'm taking up so much time. So I'm aware of that.
Okay. It's okay. We're okay right here. But I want to check in and see if time was not an object, would you want to continue? Or does your heart feel like, oh, I need to process for a little bit?
I would want to continue because I just feel like, okay, we finally grabbed onto something, but like, what do I do with it?
Yeah. Well, help me understand specifically which part of it. What do I do with which aspects that popped up?
What do I do with like pressing into Jesus with my loneliness? Like now that we've identified, oh, that makes sense. I'm lonely. I'm because I'm lonely, I'm looking for fulfillment and sweetness and connection in the midst of like trying to do practical things for my life. And like not super confident that like when I do press in, I will get an answer or I will be met. So therefore I'm not necessarily pressing in, maybe like I should be. I mean, like the pressing in is like praying and like setting space and having a heart encounter. Is that it?
So like, right, like we have the list in our heads, right, of what we've got, how to make connection with God, and those things are really great until we use them against ourselves, right? I think it's again like a question of orientation. Like my spirit is one spirit with Jesus Christ. Oh, I feel disconnected from that reality, even though that's real and true. I'm gonna support myself by getting quiet, making space. Maybe that's music, maybe that's journaling, maybe that's just saying his name over and over a few times. That's gonna look different for each person on each day too, right?
Yeah.
So there's again the tools that we can use to remind our soul and body, hey, Jesus has not walked away. He's not left the building, right?
Yeah.
But when we're pressing in, and that is the language we've been taught, which I have an issue with in terms of it's an earning or a striving, right? I'm not saying you intended it that way. I'm just saying this is the language we've been given, and it trips us up because that puts me in, great, Jesus left, I got to get him back. I got to convince him to come back in my room, right?
Huh? Yeah.
Totally.
So true. It's the verbiage.
Yeah. Which is semantics, but also matters because our heart is reading it a certain way. So making space for you to connect with Jesus could look a ton of different ways.
Yeah.
What feels most pleasing to you right now of like, oh, I want to do this to remind my soul and body that I'm connected to Jesus, and from there hear him, share with him, know, be known by him.
Like, I guess the theme lately has been legitimately just sitting. And I've mentioned this at some point. I don't remember where. I have mentioned it, of just like sitting and giving myself like actual physical space and time to just like be in my own head. But that's not comfortable and like in my norm, so I can definitely see why I haven't been doing that. Yeah. Because it doesn't feel necessarily like I'm still learning the concept that like being is doing. So there's so much stuff to do around the house with like my move, with, doing things of pressing in, Bible, journaling, but actually just like being still and thinking and talking to him. I feel like I've got to journal it out, but I don't.
And I think the stillness is where we can actually hear the Spirit. The still small voice.
Yeah.
We can catch up with ourselves. It's not that stillness is the formula for what God wants and how he wants to meet us. That's where we can hear him. He's probably talking all the time, and we're made to hear him and function in this physical present reality.
Yeah.
And I think we're all learning how to do that on the go, but we also do that by face-to-face time, right? In any relationship, like if you're never just quiet with each other or just face-to-face for a while, like there's a depth there inside of that when you can just be that way.
Yeah. I just had this thought and this picture of just, you just said quietness or stillness. And I saw this picture of just like staring at Jesus in the eyes. And I thought that actually brings so much connection when you're with somebody, just the one-on-one, and you're making the eye contact. And like even babies, they keep the eye contact with you because that's how they're soaking up like love and connection. And I think I'm being beckoned to be still and do that, and haven't like said yes to it, really. Yeah. And I'm lonely, and I'm like feel like I'm doing this alone, and I'm walking into like an unknown because people just don't get it. Like nobody gets what's going on. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Almost like Jesus is like, hey, will you let me relate to you here? Can I relate to you right here?
Yeah. I think like the breadcrumb line just keeps coming. Like, yeah, I want him to relate to me. And the breadcrumb line stuck out. Yeah.
Also,
I just like, oh, I need to chat with God about that. Like, why? What's up with that? Like, where are you here? I guess not in like a judgmental way or like bucking at Jesus, but like kind of But is it me?
Hmm.
Or is it you?
Well, and one thought I had too was like, your spirit understands what those dreams are about. So the
Yeah.
quietness may help with
Mhm.
connecting to the meaning or the action that's being invited. But yeah, the brain is like, what? Why was that purple elephant there? Whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, letting your brain know that it gets to be your servant, not your master,
Mm,
and that you actually are built and wired and designed to hear from God and to connect to God,
yeah.
that's already real, and you're just informing your body and soul, like, this is what we're doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Of just like talking to my brain. Like when I sit down for quiet time, like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you get to serve me. Like, is that good verbiage or is that not? Like you're like you get to come into partnership with like what my soul and my spirit is doing in this quiet time, but like you're not running the show.
Yeah, or even like, just with compassion, because I've yelled at my brain before and that didn't really help me,
Totally.
because I've like hated it. And so that will reveal how you feel about your own thinking. But when I can be compassionate about like, the hey brain, I'm actually going to give you a break.
Yeah.
You're actually built to serve me underneath the lordship of Jesus Christ. I'm just going to invite you. Like, I'll do that sometimes during the day. Like, hey, my intellectual aspect of me, I'm just going to bring you back into harmony under the lordship of Jesus Christ. Hey, the physical part of me that feels like it's running the show right now, or this emotional part of me, I'm just going to invite that back into harmony underneath Jesus. And that's just like an anchor point for me to say out loud.
Okay. I really like that verbiage. Coming into harmony under the lordship of Jesus Christ. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I definitely think I just have more question. I want answers, but I just, it's not, I need space. I need time. But this was so good.
I'm glad it was helpful.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you were willing to say there's this group of, this cluster of thoughts, and
Yeah.
we just got to untangle and kind of see what they're expressing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely not like this is the one thing that I'm dealing with and it's rooted from this and this. It's like there's four things. And I think that they're rooted to different things, but they all still can come back to a similar or the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to hang out with yourself to know that all those things are connected,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah. Quiet. That's the goal for this week is like actually setting time for myself to just be.
Yeah. That's really good. Let you guide that and what that looks like.
Okay. Let
Figuring
me
out
guide that.
what time of the day that feels helpful.
Yeah. Okay.
Could Google a bunch of how-tos, but I think coming from you, you're going to figure out what time of day and how long and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Okay. Okay. That makes so much sense. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thank you for letting me take up this space and just thank you.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
Thanks.
Keep us posted, okay?
Yeah, I will.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Stephanie, you are next. Are you here, Stephanie? There you are. Looks like you're muted. There There you
Am I
are.
unmuted now?
Yes. Hello.
Hi there. Okay,
How you doing?
I'm good. I didn't think there was going to be enough time. Okay, let me just relax.
Okay, sure.
This is my first time doing this.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear an echo, or is it just me?
I do hear an echo.
Give me one
Do you have
second.
hooked up or anything?
Can you guys hear me okay now?
It's more echoey, actually.
Okay, hold on.
You have headphones?
Is that better? No. Give me one second.
Awesome, guys. And as we're just taking a moment, if you guys want to pull out what's been helpful for you today, as you've just witnessed a couple women being coached, what have you encountered for yourself? What are your takeaways so far today? I think sometimes we get so used to coaching that we
better?
like every time a woman brings her vulnerability, it's a gift to each of us. So I'd love to hear in the chat.
Can you hear me?
Yes, that's great.
Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's so okay. It's great to be with you. Thanks for being willing.
Yes. Thank you. So basically, I don't even know where to begin or how to start this, but I'm only in week 3. I should be done with this program by now. And I'm feeling a lot of guilt because I can't seem to lean in as much as I'd like to. And I love the program. And so I was on I think it was the triggers and validation section. And there was a thing where it says, put your hand over your heart and ask yourself some questions about, what is the first time you felt a painful experience of this? Or I don't remember exactly what it was. And I'm not a very good journaler. So I was resisting it, talking to my heart, like, okay, heart, not really being very authentic, I guess, with it. And then all of a sudden I was just going to kind of close up my journal and close up for the evening. And then all of this stuff started pouring out of my heart. And what that was I just started thinking about all of the times where I have, starting from a kid, like either behaved badly or hurt somebody or done something wrong. And I just kind of went into a spiral with that. So it became that I can't forgive myself, that I'm unworthy, that I'm unlovable, that I don't deserve love, because I got stuck into these different things that I did, even going back to when I was little, and I've never even had these thoughts. And just to give you an idea, I had a moment where I remembered in kindergarten, the teacher gave us little lollipops, little suckers. And I was with this other little girl, and I wanted the red one. There was a red and a yellow one. And I wanted the red one, and she wanted the red one. And I purposely went and grabbed the red one, took off the wrapper and stuck it in my mouth and watched her cry because she wanted it. And I remember feeling bad in that moment, but also feeling like, haha, I got it, right? Yeah. And I think it was from that moment that I started just to look at everything in my life. Things when I was 12, things when I was 14, 15, 16, throughout my whole life. And I just started writing it all down in a list of all of these bad things that I did. And I think I can't get out of that feeling like I'm deeply like not okay. Like maybe I'm really a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a profession in which I help people every single day. I'm a counselor, so I speak with people about depression and anxiety and things like that. And I sometimes feel, even though I know that I'm helping them, I don't know if people ever feel like it's a facade, like you're really not that good, or you're really not that nice, or you really don't know that much, or you really can't help them that much, or like, what about you, and what about your life, and what about your things? And then I guess where I'm going with all of this, I finally in my life decided to really be vulnerable and really to talk about things. And unfortunately, I did it with a narcissist. And then that narcissist came in my life and then left my life. And so all of those feelings of not being good enough, not deserving love, being unlovable, being a bad person just got highlighted. And I can't seem to get out of that spiral.
Yeah.
And so now I operate with a level of being very disconnected. Like I get through the day in terms of, I go to work, I take care of my kids, I have fun with my friends, I go out with my friends, but there is this level of disconnection that I just can't seem to get past. Mm-hmm. And the more I'm disconnected, the more I feel like an imposter, because I have to try harder to be real and to be authentic.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm just blabbing. I'm going all over the place. And one other thing I wanted to say is, after that narcissistic experience, which was a couple of years ago, where I felt like I healed, I met someone who's very loving, like the complete opposite of narcissist, very empathic, a very, very nice guy. Just don't feel the same way. I love how he feeds me and feeds my spirit, and how we go out and we do things together. But I don't love him, I think, the way he loves me. I love him more as a friend. And so then I go back in that loop, like, see, you're not a good person. You're not being authentic. You're not telling him what you need, but you're sucking from him because you're giving, you're getting that love and compassion. You're giving love and compassion, but it's not equal because you don't feel that way for him. And I can't get myself out of this chaos that I think I've created. And so instead of digging in to the program more to get the healing and the love that I need, I draw back from it because I'm thinking, oh no, what else is going to come up? Mm-hmm. And I think somebody was doing a coaching call, and they told the person, I think if I can remember correctly, because I stopped going on all the coaching calls and I stopped listening to everything because I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. The last one I heard was somebody who, I think she used to sing and worship. And for whatever reason, she didn't feel like she was able to do that. And somebody said to put your hand on your heart and ask God, like, either like the gifts you have or what he loves about you or something like that. I can't remember. And I usually don't do that because I never feel like I can feel it. I feel like it's going to be my own brain telling me stuff that it's really not going to be Jesus. And so I put my hand on my heart, and then I'm like, okay, Lord, like what is it that you would love about me or that you like about me? And I heard him say, your heart. Now I'm feeling like my heart is the most evil thing, like it's the worst, right? You took the lollipop, you're talking to this guy, you sometimes when your clients call and they're talking about their depression, anxiety, you're thinking about what you're going to make for dinner that night. Like I thought, all I keep thinking of is everything wrong, and I have a hard time thinking that I'm okay, that I'm worthy, that I'm lovable, And because I don't believe that, it affects my whole life. Like, I could do a lot of things with my career, but I don't. I could do a lot of things with my relationships, but I don't. Yeah. Because I feel like I need to protect people from me.
Wow.
So, gosh, I know that was a lot. I'm sorry. No, but I feel like if I didn't get it all out, like I wouldn't be able to share.
No, I think it's beautiful processing and very articulate. Like you said, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm blabbing, and I'm like, no, I'm totally tracking with you. Like this makes a lot of sense, and I feel for you. Like my heart goes out to you, and I just recognize that you're like, I feel disconnected. Like I feel like what is my heart saying and what is just my brain, and even your honesty about feeling like an imposter with clients and things like that. Like I just don't take any of that sharing lightly, and it means a lot that you felt safe enough to share that. So thank you. Yeah. Also, just because I want to show you something. Hey, who else is in a week that feels like they should be further on, but they're still in a certain week? Anybody? I just want you to know, like, you're not crazy for being in week 3. And I know you said I should be done by now. I want to just invite you to take off that should, no, at whatever level you feel like you can. Everybody processes through this course in their own way. So you are in week 3, and that's great. Like here you are. It's not about you being better if you were further on, or worse if you're behind. That's so real. It's so real that everybody's doing it at their own pace. So what I'm hearing is not just a disconnection from your own heart, but I am underneath that hearing a desire to be connected to your own heart. Yeah. I just want to highlight that we would not be meeting here today if you did not have a desire, right? Like,
right.
You would not have signed up for this course. So that's just a beautiful thing for you to acknowledge inside your own heart, that you're not, it's not just that your heart is bad and broken, needs to be fixed. It's that your heart is reaching for healing. And that's so beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you have a thought? Go ahead.
I was just thinking, with God, like, I know that he's forgiven me for all of those things. I know that he loves me. But when he said he loved my heart, I was like, come on, like, really? Like, of all the things, the one thing that I would think is the most wicked, is the one thing that you say that you love. And I just wish that I could have some freedom for not being okay, not having to be everything for everybody. And I think when I feel disconnected from others, even though I'm enjoying the moment, the inauthenticity I feel, knowing, like, if they really knew that I would rather be at home right now, or if they really knew I'm really tired and I just, want this dinner to be over, this brunch to, I don't know.
Well, what do you think? If they really knew this about me, then what? Like, can you finish that sentence?
They probably really understand and be okay with it. Right. But I think for me, it feels like I'm letting them down. Like, this is the thing with me. If I can be in your stuff and your pain and your everything, then I don't have to be with Stephanie. I don't have to be with me. I don't have to look within. I don't have to look at the ugly, scary stuff, but I need to, because I need to heal. I'm sorry, there's dogs barking. And Stephanie's scary to me. Like, if I pull back the layers and that vulnerability, I don't know if I'm going to like what I see.
Mm-hmm.
And I might love what I see, but I'm just, how can you be afraid of yourself?
Mm-hmm. That's so legit.
And how do I feel like I need to protect people from me, but when on the outside I feel like I'm a really good helper, and I'm a really good to the people that I serve. I feel like I'm loving.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like this dichotomy that I have in myself. There's two of me. There's the person that I think is loving and good, and the person that I think is, no, you're really not. You're really just lying. And so I don't know, maybe that's just the enemy, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just want to love myself. And I don't.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Yeah, I hear you. When do you think you started being afraid of you?
I think when I started to be able to get away with stuff when I was little. If you just lie just a little, tell a little untruth, or manipulate just a little, that you can get stuff done. You know, if you just don't tell the truth and you say this, then you can get somebody to think that. So then life became easy, right? So then I just manipulated my way into things when I was smaller, whether it was being first in line or getting the best lunch, or, you know, whatever, just from the little things to things as an adult, like with my sisters. I realized that manipulating and lying was easy. And even though I've grown out of that and I'm not that adult, I still think about that kiddo, and I don't forgive her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. How do you feel about walking through an encounter right now and meeting that little girl inside you? Does that feel like something you're open to? Yeah, it's make a sound that lets me know how you feel about it. That was awesome.
I mean, I could totally do it. I don't know what that's going to be like, but yeah, I could.
Well,
and
here's the thing. We don't have to arrive at anything today, but what I'd love for you to experience is like being facilitated into a space where it's safe to use your imagination to connect with what is happening inside. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you still hold the reins in all of this. So if any of this gets uncomfortable or too vulnerable and you're like, I want to stop, you get to tell me. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Okay. And you're in a space where it's comfortable to close your eyes. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, just go ahead and close your eyes. And I just want you to picture your heart inside of you. Yeah. Just picture your heart. Yeah. And I just want you to notice if it has a color.
It's red, because red's my favorite color.
Yeah, I love that. And I just want you to notice any feelings that are coming from your heart. And there can be multiple.
I'm actually seeing it all cracked.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's red, but it's like shattered.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of like if I were to go to touch it, I would cut myself.
Mm. Yeah. Makes sense. So as you're picturing that hurt, I just want you to peek behind it. And I want you to see yourself as a little girl. And whatever comes up first, if it's an old school picture, that's great. I just want you to see yourself as a little girl to the best of your ability. You see her? Yeah.
Yeah.
And about how old is she?
She looks to be like 5, like kindergarten.
Really little. Really, really little. Yeah. And what's she doing?
She has two cute little pigtails, and she has the heart in her hand, and she's looking at the big meat, and she says, "Can you fix it?"
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And as you see her holding up that heart and asking that question, how do you feel about her?
She's so sweet. She's very, very innocent.
Wow. That's a big word.
And I want to tell her that there's nothing wrong with it. But I just want to say, yeah, baby, I'll fix it. But I want her to know there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because she sees it as shattered, but I see it as whole.
Mm. I just want you to see grown-up you getting on your knees in front of her. Yeah, and I just want you to look into her eyes. I just want you to share with her what you just said to me about her heart being whole.
She asked me if she's bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to convince her that she's very sweet,
Mm-hmm.
and she's very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her that God loves her. And she says, "But do you?"
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know why she asked if I loved her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 What if you told her? Go ahead.
I keep telling her that I do love her, but she keeps saying, "No, you don't."
What if you share with her that you're learning how to love your heart and how to love her?
She's very forgiving. She said, "Okay." And she gave me a hug.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say to her or ask her or give her in this space?
She's actually giving me a little gold star, like the kind that you used to get on your paper
Totally.
when you were little.
Yep.
So she's giving me the gold star, and
Yeah. And what does that gold star mean to your heart?
it's almost like I've already done a good job. Like she's like, "Here's your star," because she knows I'm gonna do a good job.
So sweet. So just for the sake of this moment, I just want you to look again at that scene one more time and just really like take in your heart and the color in your heart, and take in little Stephanie, and take in that gold star, and take in her forgiveness. Just let yourself have that. Just let your heart have this as like, this is a real moment in your healing journey where you connected with your imagination to understand what your heart is needing. Yeah. And it's okay to come back to this scene and deepen it, connect with your little girl here. It's okay to invite Jesus in and ask him, hey, you said you liked my heart. Can you tell me more about that? You can have this spot, okay? Nobody can take this from you. And when you're ready, you can take a deep breath. And you can open your eyes.
Thank you.
How was that?
I feel like in the moment, like as I was trying to tell her how good she was and how much I love her, I really almost felt God behind me saying, see, that's how I see you. That's what I try to tell you.
Wow.
That I see you as that innocent, beautiful little child. And it doesn't matter that you're all grown up. I'm like, can he still see us that way? Does God still see us as little children when we're all grown up and we've made all of these life choices? It's the fact that he said that was pretty powerful.
And the fact that the word innocent came to your mind early on in the encounter, that was powerful to me. Really powerful to me.
Yeah.
So just like your brain has history of believing that you're not innocent and that you're bad, right? So this gets to be one of those anchor points for you to return to when those voices return. So because you're actually building belief, you're building neurons, right? In your
Right.
to actually agree with what God says and believe him. So as much evidence as you need to believe that your heart is good, that's where we actually get to turn to God and rely on him and ask him, where's the evidence? Because if I look at my life, or if I interpret my life, I'm going to come up with a different set of evidence. But to use those little pokes and prods of those voices to actually be the wait, Dad, tell me who I am again.
Right.
That could be a sweet thing.
It's nice.
I'm glad
It was good knowing that he was right behind both girls.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she was there, I was there trying to comfort her, and he was behind me. Which to me was like him saying, there is no time with me. There is no space. There is no distance. I could feel him saying that. And you at 5, or you at 50, or you at 70, you're still my child.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter what age you are.
Wow.
And I just kind of felt like, when I'm big and I'm grown up and I should know better.
Right.
And I could feel myself talking to him as I'm trying to talk to her. And I just feel like he said, but I'm here. I've taken it all. And it's not about how good you are.
Mm.
So
It's not about how good you are. That is a conversation to have with God. That's beautiful. Yep. A lot of implications in that. Man, that'll
awesome.
Yeah. Gosh. Thank you so much for letting us share inside of that with you.
Thank you. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
Absolutely. If you feel like it would be supportive to you, maybe finding a picture of yourself at 5 years old and keeping it up in your room so you see her every day, so you can kind of connect to the humanity inside you rather than you should have had it together by now.
Right.
I feel like those little girl pictures can be really helpful for that.
Okay. I'll definitely do that.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks, Sarah.
you.
I'm excited to connect with you in the future. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So sweet, you guys. All right, with just the last couple minutes, I'd love to, we had started earlier, you guys were letting me know in the chat what your takeaways were from today. And so I'm just gonna scroll back up. If you have more that you wanna share in the chat, do so now. But I wanted to scroll back up. I'm scrolling. Oh, I thought I'd find it quickly. Okay, I'm almost there. Yeah, Sarah, reminder of the need to trust in God's plans. Yeah, Lindsay, I love the part about asking myself, what feelings am I avoiding? Deanne, just creating space, even if it's just to say Jesus. I love that. I love that. Sarah, to be still and practice good self-care and self-compassion through it all. Yeah. Anna, you got more self-awareness of my view that people see me as weak and too sensitive, fragile and too negative, and it comes from a belief that people hang out with me out of self-pity. Wow. And that what I am really wanting and needing is to be enjoyed, desired, and delighted in. Anna, that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. Wow, so good. Yeah, Lindsay, yep, you need to spend more time with that encounter. It was powerful. I love that. I love that. So good. Awesome. All right, I'm just gonna pause one more moment to see if you guys are typing anything else out, but we are gonna be wrapping up for today. And Hannah will be leaving the room open for 1 hour after this, and that's for you guys. So if you wanna connect with each other, if you want to keep processing what you learned or what you asked about today, if you were coached, if you just want to make some friends and actually get to know some people inside the group. I know in this online world, sometimes it feels like we're all distant from each other, but we really want to create a peer type setting for you guys and with you guys. So if that sounds intriguing to you, stick around and